ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। So let us continue. Vedanta Darshana, which we are discussing. The philosophy of Badarayana. So, Vedanta Darshana, for that basic grantha is, we saw, that is Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is the primary grantha. It has got 4 chapters. So, on which the Acharya of the tradition have commented. The famous commentators being Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, etc. The same Brahma Sutra is interpreted by different acharyas to their views. Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, and also there are some more divisions are there. So in all it is divided. It's all interpreted. Same Advaita Vedanta. But we saw. Now let us continue with where we left. The philosophy of Badarayana. Badarayana wrote the Brahma Sutras to systematize the teachings of the Upanishads into a coherent philosophy. As I told, the teaching is not present in a systematic way. Therefore, only you need to have commentators. Without commentators, Upanishads cannot be. Without the help of the commentators, Upanishad cannot be understood. Therefore, commentators required. And that teaching of the Upanishad alone is presented in a systematic way in the form of the sutras. So the study of Brahma Sutra is the culminates. The study of Brahma Sutra culminates the study of the Vedanta. So that is why the students of Vedanta, what they do, they study Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra study completes the study of Vedanta. That is why it is studied at the end. Why it is studied at the end? Because in Brahma Sutra you will find the quotations from different Upanishads. Unless you have the knowledge of the Upanishads, how can you study Brahma Sutra? So therefore only Upanishads are studied first and then Brahma Sutras. That is the order. Upanishads are studied first and then Brahma Sutras. With that background, if you study Brahma Sutra, then you will understand what it is. So that is how in the tradition it is. Brahma Sutra is studied at the end. It is studied at the end. After studying the major Upanishads, 12 or the 10 major Upanishads, not 12, 10. Why it's called 10? Because Shankaracharya had commented on those 10 Upanishads. Why did he choose 10 Upanishads? Because the quotations of those Upanishads are used by Vyasacharya in his Brahma Sutra. Therefore only it is required. That's the idea. That's why Shankaracharya he commented. That's why Shankaracharya had commented on those 10 Upanishads. Okay. Anybody saying something?
No, Ji.
Okay, I heard some voice. That's all. Okay. However, since the sutras are short and terse, we know what sutra is. Sutra Lakshanam. It's very short and terse, crispy. It is very capsule format. It becomes quite a job to find out what exactly is his own philosophy as revealed through this work. So therefore, only the help of commentators required. Even so, with the help of sutras, which seem to be more unambiguous than the others, an attempt now be made to portray the same. The one and only Pramana, the source of knowledge, Badarayana accepts while expounding the Vedanta system is the Shruti, Veda Pramana, especially the Jnana Kanda part of it, the Upanishads. So Upanishads are the Pramanam. Upanishads are the Pramanam. Upanishads otherwise called Jnana Kanda, otherwise called Vedanta. All mean the same, the last part of the Veda. He considers the Vedas, the words of the Vedas, as Nitya or eternal. Yes. It is Nitya. The words of the Vedas are Nitya. What do you mean by Nitya? It means with the Srishti, the Veda come, with the resolution of the Srishti, the Veda goes back to Bhagavan. So yeah, with the Srishti it comes, with this, along with the Srishti it goes. It's called Pravaha Nityatvam. This eternal is different. There are different types of Nityatvam. This is that which is always is there, that cannot be destroyed. That is Chaitanyam Brahma. That doesn't have Janma, doesn't have Marana. That is one type of Nitya. And there is relatively eternal, like going to the Swargaloka, there you live for a long period. Or the Brahmaji, or the different devatas, like Yamadharmaraja, who is in charge of Yamaloka, is also Nitya. But what Nitya? Nitya means not that you live forever. He has got that karma, the punyam he has gained, therefore you will be playing the role of that role, the designation. Yamadharmaraja is a padavi, the designation. So that is Nitya. And Swargaloka people going that not that they live forever. According to some religions, Swarga is eternal. But Christians and all, for them Swarga is eternal. But we don't accept. It is also a loka, a place of experience. It's a tourist spot, tourism. Go, enjoy, come back. You have to come down. There is no choice. Since you live there for a long time, therefore it is apekshika nityatva. So nitya is that which is eternal. One meaning is that it always, that doesn't go away. It is always there. That is nitya. Other type of nitya is apekshika nityatvam. Another type of nitya is pravaha nityatvam, like the Veda, like this Veda. Logic and reasoning, which can always be unsettled by superior ones, can never be relied upon eternally. Transcendental truths like the ultimate cause of the world. So, ultimate cause of the world. Smritis are secondary scriptures like Manusmriti and the Mahabharata, including the Bhagavad Gita, can also be depended upon in so far as they do not contradict the Shruti. So, you cannot resort to logic and reasoning. Tarka. Establish what Veda says by Tarka. Tarka, logic has got a limitation. You cannot prove by logic. Logic has got limitation. And Smriti, like Smriti means secondary scripture. Primary is Shruti, secondary is Smriti. Shruti means Veda. Shruyate iti Shrutihi. Heard by rishis. Smriti is Smaryate iti Smriti. That what is heard is remembered and presented in the form of a text, a grantha, like Mahabharata, Manusmriti, all the Puranas, these are Smriti Grantha. In the Mahabharata, only Gita is that's why Gita is called Smriti Prasthana. If you remember, three types of Prasthana Trayam, three Granthas are together called Prasthana Trayam. There, Upanishads, Shruti Prasthana, Bhagavad Gita, which is Smriti Prasthana, and Brahma Sutra, Nyaya Prasthana. So Smritis are secondary scriptures like Manusmriti, Mahabharata, including Bhagavad Gita, can also be depended upon insofar as they do not contradict Shruti. Very important statement this is. When there is a contradiction between the Shruti and the Smriti, Shruti is always stronger. Smriti will be overruled by Shruti. What is presented by Shruti, or what is told by Shruti, that overrules what is presented by Smriti. So Smritehe Shrutihi Gariyasi. Okay. Shruti declares Brahman as the origin of this universe. Origin means it is a Karana. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana Vitsa, which is both the maker and the material. Brahma is the Brahman, or Brahma Chaitanyam is a material and it is a maker. The primary, nay, the only truth. In fact, the very definition of Janma Dasya Yataha, this is the second sutra. First sutra is Atato Brahma Jignasa, first sutra. Janma Dasya Yataha, second sutra. Shastra Yonitvat, third sutra. Fourth sutra is Tattu Samanvayat, only four sutra. This fourth sutra only, even I have studied. Chatussutri, that itself is a big thing. Other sutras, there are 555 sutras are there. But among them, the four sutras are important. That presents the tatparya of the Shastra. That is enough. Other sutras we can study in your own leisure. So here, Janma Desiyataha. Janma Desiyataha means Janma, Janmadhyasya, Janmadi, Yaha, which is a Karanam, which is a source of this Janmadhyasya Yataha, which is a source, the Karanam of this Jagat. So the very definition, Janmadhyasya Yataha, makes him the uncaused cause, the ground of sustenance and involution of the world. Brahma is the Karanam, Jagat Karanam, Brahma. This Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha, this Yataha and all, the word occurs in Taittiriya Upanishad. So that is, the Sutra has got some connection with the Vakyas in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Anyway, just to know that much is enough. So this sutra says, under the sutra only the author in the commentator will say, Brahma is both the material and the efficient cause, maker of the material. He needs no external implements or assistance. It doesn't require any other thing. If any other thing is required, then it's a problem. Then that also parallelly exists with Brahma. Then there are two parallel realities. Then it means Dvaita. It's a problem. Since we say Advaita, therefore the material cannot be away from the maker. The maker is the material. Therefore, it needs no external implements or assistance and can transform itself as milk is transferred into its products. This example also has got limitation. Milk is transferred into its products. Once it has become curd, the curd cannot become milk again. Milk is a karanam and curd is the karya. But here, Karya Jagat doesn't exist apart from Karanam. And we say the Karya also is just a name and form. Therefore, essence is only Brahma. Whereas, therefore, even though Brahma has manifested in the form of this Jagat is really nothing but Brahma. But same thing you cannot say in the case of milk product. Milk has become curd. It is curd only. Its property is different. Milk is different. So the example has got some limitations. So you cannot take this example. Best example is clay into pot. You can replace this example by clay becoming pot. That is good example. Pot also not a baked pot. Once you bake the pot, it becomes solid. Then if you break it, it will not become clay. The clay, the gata, what we are saying is gata made of clay, and the gata is not baked. Okay. Gata is, that's how we have to take it. That's how we have to take it. Understand what I'm saying?
Ji.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Ji. Hope you can hear us.
That I can hear.
Oh,
Okay. So he evolves into. Okay, I'll show you something.
okay, Ji.
Outside, it's not required, but you can, for your knowledge, I'm saying, even if it is as in the exam, suppose you can write it. Okay, why not? I'll tell you what is this in the. Just a minute. Brahma is, I told the Brahma is the maker, and Brahma is the material. Now, from this Brahma, the maker is a material. The maker is a material. He doesn't have to. There is nothing else other than him available. So he himself, not transformation, undergoes transformation. If undergoes transformation, like the milk becoming a curd, it's a problem. Milk becoming curd means milk is changed into curd. If God also is changeable, if God also is changeable, if God also changeable, then it's not a God. That is why this example is a problem, I said. Milk becoming curd is a permanent change. This Brahma becoming the Jagat, it's not a permanent change. In fact, Jagat is nothing but Brahma only with Nama Rupa. Like the clay has become the pot. The pot is nothing but clay only.
Clay.
It's just a name and form. Name and form doesn't have any weightage. What you buy from a pot maker is just the clay only. The weight of the clay is equal to the weight of the pot, or the weight of the pot is equal to weight of the clay. The weight of the bangle ornament you are buying from GRT, the bangle you are buying, the weight of the bangle is nothing but the weight of the gold. Of course, you will say copper is added. Don't remove the copper. For example's sake, the weight of the bangle is nothing but the weight of the gold. So, minus gold, bangle doesn't exist. So, bangle is nothing but a round shape, a rupa, nama rupa, and name you are giving as bangle. That's all. So, it's nothing but gold. Even in the form of a bangle, it is nothing but gold, right? You
Yes.
don't, you cannot sell it because it's a bangle that seller will not take for extra money, except for as there is a rate for the gold, that only you will give because it is a bangle. Will you believe? Will the buyer give you more money? No. Whatever the rate of the gold, the current rate, market rate, that alone you will give. So the bangle is round in shape, and if it is a ring, it has got a different shape. Shapes are different, names are different. That's all. But it's nothing but gold. So therefore, even though the transformation has happened, it continues to be gold only. But that is not the case with the milk and the curd. Okay, milk and the curd, the milk has to get destroyed to become the curd. It's a permanent change, not reversible change. So therefore, if Brahma also changes permanently, then Brahma will be continuously changing. Then it will be changing becomes Satyam, changing becomes permanent. If God also changes, then he cannot be God. Okay, that is what I'm saying. Understand?
Yes, Ji.
So from that Brahma alone, the author says here, he evolves into Akasha, Vayu, and other products. So Brahma alone is Akasha, Vayu, other products. All these products, they come. The first product is Akasha. Akasha comes from Brahma alone. So there is a statement. This is from a text called Tattva Bodha. You see the text I'm showing you. Tataha Akashah Sambhutaha. Akashat Vayuhu. Vayos Tejaha. Tejasah Apaha. Adbyah Prithvi. Tataha means Brahmanaha. From the Brahma. Maya Sagita Brahma. Maya is a material. Brahma is the maker. The maker and the maker. Because he himself, that's a different name given. Brahma and Maya, they are not different. Shiva and Shakti are not different. Shiva is Chaitanyam, Brahma. Shakti is also, Shakti is the power. That's a material cause. Shakti. Maya Shakti we say. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadibhavati Shakta Prabhavitam in Saundari Lagari, it is there. Therefore,
Yes, Ji.
Shiva and Shakti, this Maya Shakti, this material. So that is called Tataha. Brahma, Maya Sagita Brahmanaha, Tataha. Panchami Bhakti. Tataha is from that. Tasmat. Akasha is born. From Akasha, Vayu is born. From Vayu, Tejas is born. From Tejas, water is born. From water, Prithvi is born. All these are Sukshma Bhuta. This Sukshma Bhuta undergoes a process called compounding process, otherwise called grossification process. Each Sukshma Bhuta has got three gunas. Akasha has got three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Vayu has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And Tejas, Agni has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Apa, water has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Prithvi has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So, these Sukshma Bhutas, from this Sukshma Bhuta, Sukshma Pancha Bhuta, which are called Tanmatra, from that Stula Pancha Bhutas are born. That is called grossification process. I just show you what is that grossification. Compounding process, we call. Akasha, what happens? It gets divided into two parts, 50-50%. Similarly, Vayu also gets divided into two. Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. Then what happens? This 50% of one Akasha, the one part of Akasha, gets divided into four parts, 12.5% each. Similarly, Vayu also, one part of Vayu, that is 50% of Vayu, gets divided into four parts. Four parts means 12.5%. Similarly, Agni, similarly, Apaha, similarly, Prithvi. Then what happens? Then, along with the 50% of Akasha, 12.5% of other elements, they combine. So 50% of Akasha and 12.5% of other elements, they combine and they result in the form of Stula Akasha, gross Akasha. Similarly, Vayu 50% is there, along with the other 12.5% of four elements, they combine and that result in the form of Stula Vayu. This is the Vayu, what you perceive by your skin. This is the Vayu which your skin perceives. Similarly, Agni, 50% of its original plus 12.5% of other five elements joined together becomes the Agni. This is what is available for your eyes, you see, available for your perception. Similarly, Apaha, similarly, Prithvi. This is the creation of Stula Pancha Bhuta. Okay, this is some extra information so that you will have some interest. That's why I'm saying presenting this. Okay, how it is. So Brahma evolves into Akasha, Vayu, and other products. What are other products? Vayu, Agnihi, then Apaha, Prithvi, by willing the same, and is associated with every stage of creation up to the last. It is not that Brahma transforms into Akasha completely and Akasha alone is there. It is not like milk becoming a curd. From Brahma, Akasha is born, and Akasha is not separate from Brahma. It is Akasha Brahma. From Akasha, Vayu is born. It is not that Akasha is destroyed and from that Vayu is born. From Akasha, Vayu is born means Vayu Brahma is born. So different stages, all the way Brahma is there. Brahma alone is there. Okay. This is only, it's very difficult for you to understand. As I told, this is a class, in fact. You have to attend the class, then only you will understand all these things. But for your purpose, whatever may be the purpose, for that you understand this much. Whatever I say, try to have that, understand that. So in all the way, Brahma is there. Okay. So Brahma is a material, Brahma is a maker. That is what he says here. Since it is Brahma that has evolved into this world, therefore the world is not different from Brahma. As pot has come from clay, it is not different from pot has come from clay, it is not different from clay. That's the idea. Right? Even as an unfolded cloth is not different from the same which was earlier folded. The folded cloth is unfolded. That's called creation. But the cloth is same. Because it is folded, the cloth will not become something different. This is another good example. So this example is better than milk becoming a curd. Okay. The
Yes.
activity of creation is a leela or effortless sport for Brahma. That's why it's called leela, Ishvara leela, Bhagavat leela. It's a sport. It is a karma of jiva that alone is a cause for this jagat to come. Bhagavan doesn't create the srishti as his whims and fancies. So he does for keeping with the karma pala of the jivas. But since it is done as per the karmas of the unredeemed jivas, one should not attribute partiality or cruelty to him, seeing the good and evil that exist here. Why some jivas are born in a poor family, why some are in a big, in a royal family, why some are born with some congenital deformity, some are born with all good health. This is not partiality. It is all depends on one's karma pala. This is what one has earned through karma. So according to the karma, the jivas take birth in different wombs. Some are born in the womb of mosquito, some are born as cockroach. So every jiva has got all the possibility. So next janma, we have all the possibility. We have the possibility of being born as a mosquito or a cockroach or amoeba. Any possibility is there. Better wake up now itself. That is what this says. Okay. So Manushya Janma is a rare Janma. There are about say 8.4 million, 84 lakhs Jiva species are there. Among them, Manushya Janma is one. So what is the probability? 1 by 84, 8.4 million. It's a huge probability. Right? So it is, therefore, it is a great privilege. Through Manushya Janma only, another question we may ask you, why it is not possible to other species, other forms? Why can't we get moksha? No. So only through Manushya Janma, because human beings are only endowed with buddhi. Buddhi is required, thinking is required, because samsara, because of ajnanam, ignorance. Ignorance has to go. Jnanam is required. And jnanam is gained through shastram, shabda pramanam, the words. The words produces meaning in the mind, the form of the thought. That alone removes ajnanam. Therefore, Manushya Janma is important. Only through Manushya Janma it is possible. That's why Manushyatvam, Mumukshitvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. These three things are very difficult to get. Durlabam Trayame Vaitat Devanugraha Etukam. Only through the grace of the Lord, these three things are possible. Manushyatvam, Mumukshitvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayaha. Getting a human birth and having the desire to be free and association with great Mahatmas. These three things are very rare to get. So therefore, there is no partiality. As regards to Jiva, the individual soul, Badarayana defines him as a Nya or knower. Knower. Knower means what is in Sanskritam it is called Nyata, the one who knows. Nyata. Being endowed with consciousness. So he has no birth or death. He is eternal and atomic in size. Whether the Jiva is an Amsha, part of Brahma, or is Abhasa, has not been stated clearly to the views of Vedantis like Ashmaratya, Audulomi, and Kashakrishna have been given. So this, whether Jiva is an Amsha, is a part of Brahma or is reflection of Brahma, has not been stated clearly, though the views of these are given. The relationship between Jiva and Brahma has been likened to the snake and its coiled state or light and its source. Thus, the question they are different or identical has been left unanswered. By meditating on Atma and Brahma leading to Jnana, experience of the same, the Jiva attains liberation. The Shruti is giving equal importance to the performance of karma or prescribed actions and tyaga or renunciation of the same, though the performance of duties prescribed for the respective ashramas has been stressed even for the spiritual aspirant. The fruits of the various upasanas of meditation practiced by a jiva accrue to him by the grace of Ishvara. Anyway, this paragraph, as regards the jiva, the individual soul, Badarayana defines as a knower. Okay, knower means the one who is endowed with consciousness. The jiva as a amsha of Brahma or Abhasa has not been stated clearly. Has not been stated clearly. That is why it is subject to interpretation by the commentators. It has not been stated clearly in the Brahma Sutra, but has been commented by the acharyas in the tradition, Shankaracharya, etc., other acharyas. Shankaracharya present it as in the Advaitic sense. Other acharyas in their own perspective, like Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, etc. Therefore, the relationship between Jiva and Brahma, whether they are different or identical, has been left answered where in Brahma Sutra. That is why it is available for interpretation. By meditating on Brahma, the Jiva attains moksha. By meditation, that's called Nididhyasana. That is, by meditation means by understanding. That is what we say. But literally, as a sadhana, some other commentators they differ. By meditation on Brahma, leading to jnana or experience, the jiva becomes muktaha. Shruti gives equal importance to karma. Karma to be performed in keeping with the varna and ashrama in whichever stage of life one is. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, the four classification, or within the stage of life, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, in keeping with the varna and ashrama, the sadhaka, the spiritual aspirant, has to perform the karma. The division also, varna also, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it is not based on jati, it is based on guna, the character, and it is based on karma. It is not to demean any section of the people, the society. That is not the purpose. Now all the political leaders, other things, they attack this, not understanding this varnashrama vidhi. Brahmana, even though a person is a brahmana by birth, jati brahmana, that's all. But he has to become brahmana only by guna and karma. Even though a person is born in a Shudra family, he also can be a brahmana by karma and guna. By guna, mainly by guna, not by karma. Karma is for social classification. Guna is important for spiritual progress. In fact, who is a brahmana if you ask? The one who knows Brahma is called brahmana. Brahma janati iti brahmana. Other people are not, all are abrahmana only if that is the case. So therefore, there is nothing superior or inferior. So what is told here, in keeping with the varna and ashrama, whichever stage of life one is in, one has to do the karma as specified by the Shastra. That is called karma yoga. That is required for getting prepared for gaining jnana. The fruits of the various upasana meaning meditation, practiced by a jiva, comes to the jiva by the grace of Ishvara. On attaining the knowledge of Brahma, all the sanchita karma, once jnanam is gained, then what will happen to sanchita karma? It will be destroyed. Yesterday I told you three types of karma. Sanchita karma is the karma which has not yet started fructified. It is there as a capital in your account. That will get destroyed. Did I tell you all this in the class? I think I told you, right? Yesterday?
Yes, Ji.
Yes. He will live as long as the prarabdha, the karma which has already started fructified, the wheel which has already been started rotating. So that will go, like life will go till it is there. And karma done after attaining knowledge, that is called agami karma, that will not affect the person. That will go only to whom? If it is punya karma, it will go to the glorifiers of the jnani. If it is papa karma, then whoever criticizes it, that papa will go to him. Small papa, whatever he does. Not intentionally, not deliberately, by mistake. The jiva who has reached the acme of meditation while living, after death, travel by Archiradi Marga or Devayana and reach Brahmaloka, from which there is no return to the world. They are also going there, one has to bring Jnanam, then only Mukti. Otherwise, one has to come back. There he will be one with Brahma, non-different from him. He says, but it is not like that. There also, for some people, maybe Brahmaloka is Mukti, but for Advaita Vedantins, that is also not Mukti. Going to Brahmaloka, from there gaining Moksha by gaining Jnanam is Krama Mukti. That is what Mukti is. The various attributes predicated of Brahma get manifested in the liberated Jiva. Chaitanya or consciousness being essential nature is of course always there. In conclusion, it can be affirmed that Badarayana in this sutra teaches a kind of Advaita, Brahmadvaita. He doesn't admit the existence of either the Jivas or the world as independent of or different from Brahma. So they don't exist apart from Brahma. Since he has accepted the Upanishads as the supreme authority, Pramanam, Veda Pramanam, since the other teachers like Bhadari, whom he has quoted, also did the same, he has not contradicted them. Both the views that Brahma is Nirvishesha Chinmatra Swarupa. Nirvishesha means without any Vishesha, no attributes, Nirguna Brahma, and Savishesha Brahma, Brahma with attributes, seem to be acceptable to him. Brahma with attributes, Brahma without attributes. Brahma with Namarupa, that is Namarupatmaka Brahma is this Jagat. Maya Sagita Brahma is Saguna Brahma, without any attributes. Brahma as such, pure consciousness, that is Shuddha Chaitanya, that is Nirgunam. Obviously, he has tried to reconcile the various apparent conflicting views expressed in the Upanishads and explain them rather than formulate his own philosophy. So, what Badarayana Vyasacharya done is he has tried to reconcile the seemingly contradicting statements of the Upanishads. Now starts their commentators and their works. It has been commented upon by various commentators. The Vedas have been the foundation of Hindu religion and culture for millennia. The philosophy of Vedanta based on the Upanishads has held sway over the intelligentsia for centuries. Hence, it is but natural that the Brahma Sutras of Badarayana has attracted the attention of the distinguished scholars over the years who have enriched the Vedanta literature by their brilliant expositions. All these commentators are evinced great respect for Badarayana and his monumental work. They have tried to critically examine all the other schools that were important during their days and to prove the superiority of the Vedanta over them. Of course, they are equally keen to establish their own school of Vedanta also. So it is an important basic text on which many commentaries are available. So this Vedanta Darshana has overruled or it has superseded all the other Darshana, and also this Vedanta has been commented upon by different authors. I mean, different acharyas. They have their own school of Vedanta. Advaita, Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, and Nimbarkas also views are there. Nimbarka, Vallabhacharya, many have got their different views. Even Vedanta also got different views. But generally, what we mean by Vedanta is Advaita Vedanta. But it is not only the Vedanta. There are Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, etc. They are also there. So anyway, that Vedanta Darshana overrules the other Darshana. Of the several bhashyas or commentaries available to us today, that of Shankaracharya is the earliest. Adi Shankaracharya had commented on Brahma Sutra. There might have been quite a few bhashyas composed by the earlier writers. It can, however, be stated with certainty that Upavarsha, to whom Shankara refers in his commentary, must have been one such. So, Upavarsha, you can note, was one of the commentator before Shankaracharya. And Bodhayana, another commentator referred to as Vrittikara by Ramanuja, is sometimes identified with this Upavarsha, though there is no unanimity regarding it. The following list of commentators who have left Vashyas directly on the Brahma Sutras may be useful to the students of Vedanta philosophy. Shankaracharya, the dates you don't see that. Maybe Shankaracharya don't see that, others can see. Shankaracharya's is Advaita Vedanta. Bhaskara is Veda. Veda is difference. Abeda is non-difference. So difference and non-difference, both are there. Yadava Prakasha, his perspective is Veda. Ramanuja Vishishta Advaita. Madhva Dvaita. Nimbarka Dvaita Advaita. Srikantha Saiva Vishishtadvaita. Shripati Veda Vedatmaka Vishishtadvaita. Vallabha Shuddha Advaita. Shuka Veda Vada. Vijnana Bhikshu Atma Brahmaika Veda Vada. All these are different authors who have got different views of Vedanta. Baladeva Achintya Veda Veda. So Vedanta itself, there are so many types of Vedantas are there. It means Vedanta meaning Upanishads, and the Upanishads have been interpreted in all these perspectives. Among them, the most one is acceptable and popular is Advaita Vedanta, non-duality. Now, these names you can note, all these names, the Vedanta, they have so many perspectives. Darshana is 6 darshana. Among the 6 darshana, Vedanta is one. And Vedanta itself has got so many, among the Vedanta itself, there are so many views are there. These are the most popular views. A brief summary of the more important of these schools may now be given. Since the schools propounded by Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhva are more well known and gained precedence over the other, they will be taken first. Yes, Shankaracharya first, then Vishishtadvaita, then Dvaita. Therefore, in the order is giving now. Shankara's darshana or philosophy as revealed in his Bhashya and the Bhagavad Gita, the 10 ancient Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras is now well known as Advaita Vedanta. It is not that Shankaracharya propounded Advaita Vedanta. Please note, this Advaita Vedanta was there even before Shankaracharya, Gaudapada, etc. Those great acharyas were there. Shankaracharya had written commentary on this famous Smriti Prasthana, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra. So generally, Advaita Vedanta means Vishe Shankaracharya, but it is not that Shankaracharya propounded Advaita Vedanta. Shankaracharya, maybe you can say, he advocated Advaita Vedanta. The oft-quoted and famous verse, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, Jivo Brahma Paraha. The truth is Brahma, this Jagat is Mithya. Mithya means it is not real. Therefore, Jiva and Brahma, they are not different. Jiva, Brahma Evana Aparaha, not different from Brahma. So, Jiva is Brahma alone. Therefore, Advaita, there is no difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Shankaracharya categorizes Brahma into 2 aspects, Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. Where the Upanishadic statements deny all limiting adjuncts like name and form created by avidya or ignorance of its essential nature to Brahman is Para, the higher Brahma. So the one without Nama Rupa is Parabrahma. On the other hand, where these statements describe him as endowed with name and form and several attributes, it is called Aparabrahma. So Parabrahma, Aparabrahma. Saguna Brahma, Nirguna Brahma. That is what the difference is. Brahma with attributes, Brahma without attributes. Brahma with Namarupa, Brahma without Namarupa. This Jagat is Brahma with Namarupa. Therefore, Saguna Brahma. The God whom you worship in the temple, Saguna Brahma. You go to the temple, you worship the Murti. You are not worshipping the stone. You are worshipping the Lord. You are worshipping Brahma. What Brahma? Saguna Brahma. For you, it is Bhagavan, you are invoking the all-pervading Lord in that Murti. We don't call it as a stone, it is a Vigraha. It is the Bhagavan being all-pervading. For your Upasana, for your meditation, you invoke him in a particular form, in a particular Vigraha, and worship him. Because you invoke in a stone, that becomes a Vigraha, it becomes an object of worship. So that when you see that Graha, you remember the all-pervading Ishvara. That is the idea. Therefore, it is not idol worship. There is no idol worship. The worship is Saguna Brahma Upasana. It is. We are worshipping the all-pervading Lord. Okay, so that is, we have to understand very clearly. That is Aparam Brahma. It is a latter that is the cause for the creation of this world, its sustenance and its dissolution. That is Brahma with Maya Upadi. Where Upadi is the Nama Rupa is that is Aparam Brahma. Really speaking, Brahma doesn't get transformed into this world. The multiplicity of names and forms is only a vivarta, an appearance, due to an avidya or ignorance. Even as a snake is perceived in a rope in insufficient light. Yes, you see a rope, but you think it as a snake. Why? Because of your ignorance. and there is no light, there is semi-darkness. In the darkness, you are not able to recognize a rope as a rope. Therefore, you see it as a snake. Where is now snake is created. It is your projection. Similarly, there is no Jagat. The Jagat is only an appearance. It's only appearance of Brahma. This is what Advaita Vedanta is. Therefore, only we say it is Mithya, not real. This he calls Adhyasa or Adhyaropa, superimposition. Superimposition of this Nama Rupatmaka Jagat on Brahma. Superimposition of snake on the rope. Snake is unreal, rope is real. So when you understand the snake as a rope, you become free from fear. When you understand the Jagat as Brahma, then you become free from Sukha Dukkha, you become free from samsara. Through Vidya or discriminative knowledge, the Apavada, the desuperimposition takes place, giving the true knowledge of the reality. So Upanishad presents in this way, Apavada, Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa, Apavadabhyam, Nishprapancham, Prapanchate. Adhyaropa, Apavada. First, you superimpose and then desuperimpose. That is superimposing Jagat on Brahma, then dismiss the Jagat as Mithya, not real. That is Apavada, desuperimposition. Then you see what is there is Brahma alone. Like first you superimpose pot on the clay, then you remove the Nama Rupa. What is there is only clay. The clay alone I see. You see the pot, but I see it as a clay. You know that Tirumalar mantram, Maratil Marindha Mamada Yanai, Maritai Maratha Mamada Yanai. You remember that shloka? Have you heard that?
Yes, Ji, but don't remember now.
Do you know the meaning of that?
No, Ji.
Have you heard the proverb Kallakanda Nayakanam, Nayakanda Kallakana?
Yes, Ji.
What does it mean? It is not that
When one exists, another one.
it's not the stone is for beating for eating the dog, I think the dog, not that meaning. If you a sculpture is there, it is so real. Seeing that it got stunned, you get afraid. It looks like a dog, real dog. But on seeing and closer examination, you realize it is a stone dog. So if you see that dog, if you see that it as a dog, that it is real for you. If you see it as a stone, it is not real. That's what the meaning is. That's what Tirumalar also says in Tirumandiram. Marathai Maritadu Mamadayanai, Maratil Marindadu Mamadayanai. So that's called superimposition and desuperimposition. Understand?
Yes, Ji.
Superimposing the elephant on the stone and desuperimposing, understanding that it is not a real elephant, it is a stone, it is a wood. That is desuperimposition. That gives the knowledge of the reality. Okay. Shankara considers the jivas as Chaitanya, pure consciousness, but circumscribed by circumscribed means conditioned by antakarana. Antakarana is the mind. The jiva, though nitya, shuddha, buddha, mukta, nitya, shuddha, mukta, swabhavaha, jivaha, appears as karta and bhokta. Because he thinks himself to be a karta, therefore karma pala comes to him. Therefore only karma pala accrues to the jiva, and therefore he has to experience the karma pala by being a bhokta. Jiva, the swarupa of jiva is Chaitanya. How can Chaitanyam be a karta? Chaitanyam cannot do. There is no kriya possible for Chaitanyam. Why I say kriya not possible? Because Chaitanyam is all pervasive. Being all pervasive, all pervading, how can it do kriya? For doing an action, you need an object. Everything is that. How can it do a kriya? You need an object, you need an instrument, all the karakas are required. Karta, karma, karana, sampradana, adhikarana, all the karakas are required, right? Then only kriya is possible.
Yes, Ji.
But everything is that alone. Then how can kriya possible? Therefore, not possible. Karma not possible for Shuddha Chaitanyam. But Jiva does karma. He assumes himself to be a karta. That is what we say ajnana. Because ajnana is that, therefore karma pala comes to the karta. He becomes a bhokta, experiences the karma pala, and he revolves in this ocean, the cycle of samsara. That is called samsara, yes. So samsara because of ajnana. Okay, I'm taking a Vedanta class for you. Anyway. The Upanishadic sentences like Tattvamasi teaches the essential identity between Jiva and Brahma. Tattvamasi is a Mahavakya. We call great equation. Even though it's a small sentence, but it's a great equation. Mahavakyam, great vacuum. Tat referring to Brahma, Tvam referring to Jiva, Asi. That Brahma is you. It means there is no difference between you and the Brahma. Akhandartha Bodhaka Vakyam, Mahavakyam. Jiveshwara Aikya Vakyam, Mahavakyam. Tat referring to Ishvara, Tvam referring to Jiva. There is no difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva Ishvara, Jiveshwara, Jiva Ishvara, Jiveshwara, Aikya, Bodhaka, Vakyam, Mahavakyam. Then what the differences are there? The differences are only in the Upadhi. The differences are there only in the Namarupa. Namarupa are Mithya. They are not real. So minus Namarupa, it is, what is there is only Brahma. Like in the ocean, waves are there. Waves are what? Waves are nothing but water. Wave is nothing but a Namarupa. The foam, bubbles, everything is breakers. All these are Namarupa. But essentially they are water alone. Similarly, Jiva is Brahma alone. That is why he said, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, famous statement. Shankaracharya doesn't accept Karma Mukti or gradual liberation of Jiva after death by traveling to Devayana to Brahmaloka as described in the Upanishads and Brahma Sutras. The Karma Mukti doesn't accept. However, he is emphatic about Sadhyo Mukti or instant liberation here and now, simultaneously with the rising of Jnana or knowledge. Such a Mukti is called Jivan Mukti, while liberation while living. So, he doesn't accept going to Brahmaloka and getting Mukti. Why? If Mukti is possible here and now, that's called Sadhyo Mukti or Jivan Mukti. You don't have to go to travel, go to Brahmaloka. That is not easy also. Going to Brahmaloka and getting Mukti. Why not here itself, here and now? I haven't got this Manushya Janma. Why don't you strive for Mukti now, here and now itself, and be free? Therefore, he advocates Sadhyo Mukti, Jivan Mukti. This is up to Shankaracharya. Then Ramanuja. Ramanuja's commentary on the Brahma Sutra is called Sri Bhashya. You can note the name, important. Sri Bhashya means commentary on Brahma Sutra by Ramanuja. Apart from this, he has also composed two similar works on the Brahma Sutras, Vedanta Deepa and Vedanta Sara. The former, being a later work, contains some additional explanations. Ramanuja's Sri Bhashya is stated to follow in the footsteps of the more detailed Bodhayana Vritti, as also the works of some earlier Vedantis like Brahmanandi and Dravidacharya. It must be Dravida, it must be V, I think, not Drami. Dravidacharya, whose works are not available now. Ramanuja accepts Brahma as the highest and independent reality. However, Brahma includes in himself Chit, the sentient beings, the Jivas, and Achit. So Brahma is the highest reality, but it has got both sentient and insentient. These two are also real. So sentient is also real, insentient also real. It is in contrast with Advaita. There is no sentient, insentient. Everything is Brahma. But according to Ramanujacharya, that is what is called Dvaita, Dvaita philosophy. Brahma is highest, but it consists of both sentient and insentient. Sentient means jivas, insentient prakriti. These two are also real, but under the absolute control of Brahma. Brahma, also called Ishvara by him, includes them, is immanent in them, and also transcends them. Hence, Ramanuja's system is called Vishishtadvaita. Advaita or non-duality of Brahma, the absolute, but Vishishta, qualified by Chit and Achit. Because Chit Jivas are there and Achit Jadas are there, therefore Visishta Advaita it is called. It is similar to a tree with branches, leaves and fruits. Though the tree is one, Brahma is one, but it has got parts, internal parts, each part being different from other parts. The tree itself, however, always remaining as one. So Brahma is one, but within that there are parts. That is what the Visishtadvaita philosophy is. So Ramanuja, Brahma is a supreme person, Sarveshwara, who is a ruler of all. He is antagonistic to all evil. He possesses infinite auspicious qualities. It's called Bhagavan. Bhagaha, the sixfold qualities are present totally in him. He is omniscient, Sarvajnaha, and is omnipotent, Sarvashaktiman. The creation, subsistence, and reabsorption of this world proceed from him. So, Srishti, Sati, and Laya, all this happens from him only. Ramanuja considers a jiva, the individual soul, as a spirit different from the body, atomic in size, endowed with jnana or consciousness, which contracts or expands. This is according to Ramanujacharya. Okay, so different from the body and their consciousness. And jiva has a free will, and jivas are infinite in number. Some jivas are always nityas, they are ever free. So there are gradations among the jivas. Some jivas are nitya, some others are now baddha, bound, and can attain mukti through bhakti and prapatti. Prapatti means surrender, and the grace of God, anugraha. All the liberated jivas are similar in nature. Spiritual life starts with the performance of prescribed karmas in the right spirit, leading to the purification of the mind. Such a pure jiva becomes fit to practice jnana and experiences separateness from the body, mind, sense complex. So bhakti is required and performing the karma is required. So when the jiva becomes pure, then he can experiences his nature as apart from this body mind, different from the body mind senses. It is through bhakti and prapatti that he ultimately attains Brahman through Devayana and becomes free. It becomes nitya, becomes free. So possible. So Baddha Jivas, there are different types of Jivas, Baddha Jivas and Nityas. Baddha Jiva can become Mukta Jiva by following Bhakti and Prapatti. This is according to Ramanujacharya. Madhva, I think we can see in the afternoon, 3:30. Okay. Yes.
Yes, Ji.
So Madhvacharya, Bhaskara, Nimbarka, and Vallabha, or many other. I think with this I think we'll stop. I think Vallabhacharya, last one. Baladeva. I think so much is not required actually. Anyway, it is there in conclusion. So we have to read maybe another one, 21, 2 more classes. So
Okay.
Madhvacharya, we'll see in the afternoon. Okay.
Okay, Ji.
So we'll stop here. The concept you have to understand. You cannot understand in detail what it means. Not possible. Because every school is, every mata is elaborate study. I know Advaita Vedanta study, therefore I can explain that. That's why I try to make you understand. Ramanujacharya, you have to study. Shiva Ashya, you have to study Ramanuja. And there are great scholars are there who expound on philosophy of Ramanuja. Similarly, Madhvacharya are there. But for your purpose, whatever is required, that alone, so this book is enough for that, to give you a general idea. In detail, if you want, there are other always books are the Shiva Ashya. There are people who take classes on Shiva Ashya, etc. Who has to study. It's all your interest. I also have, I don't know, and not that I mean I'm interested also. I'm not interested now. Maybe I to what do you call, to dismiss their argument. Maybe I'm interested to study Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya. That views to dismiss that. So Vedanta, because they also give very valuable or very convincing arguments. So it's very difficult to defeat them also. You need to have that sharp intellect, acumen to defeat them. So that if all these things will help you to develop that buddhi, the mind. So therefore, if that is required, then maybe I will study. I'm personally I'm saying, but for mukti, for jnanam, I don't need to study so many things. Only Advaita Vedanta, that is what I'm convinced of, and that is alone I study. Shankaracharya Bhashya. But Vishishta Advaita, all the Ramanujacharya Madhva are all great people. Even though they are great people, but as Advaita Vedantis, we dismiss them. We dismiss the views are wrong. Simple. Okay. Anyway, but we are not interested in establishing who is right or who is wrong. We are just knowing what are all the different Vedanta perspectives. That's all.
Yes, Ji.
So Madhva, what we will see in the afternoon. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadah, Ji.
धन्यवादः जी। धन्यवादः जी।
Feelings